Yeah. Forthwrite, Cuzzy, what's up?
We still got it, babe. What do you reckon?
I think so, babe. They love a babe around here.
I'ma make you hit a deck like you shuffle cards. We in another class, dropping monkey bars that got everybody up in arms.
These new dudes are like drugs that are cut in half. They might get a little buzz, but it doesn't last.
It's hard to listen to their music and not laugh. Everybody's at a level we've already gone past.
You say you got bars, I can't tell him what part. Your song's any good, I must have listened to the wrong half.
Yeah, all these soft ass rappers try to strong arm everyone to thinking they are G's, but they're not hard. Think you good, but I'm telling you, your songs aren't. My advice for your rapping is to not start.
They used to love you on the pop charts, living like a rock star. They start getting weird when you talk about God, but
I used to swear in every song, bruh. Played a fool, now I'm about to make it cool to start saying gosh darn. In a PC world, we're the wrong class. They bombard us with fear, so you're on guard.
If you're tired of it, come and listen to our podcast, cause we're the truth and being honest is a lost art.
We got venues to fill on tour.
I'd love to tell you where we're playing, but we're still not sure.
Cause I'm thinking they still want more. I dropped out of the blue and now they wondering when you'll drop yours.
Nice. And I don't know when that is yet, so I can't tell you, but it's coming.
It's coming, babe. This Friday at the Forum, Melbourne, the tour starts. Let's go.
Oh man, and I'm about to rack up a bill on 360’s swear jar, so you want to be there for that, babe. It's going to be beautiful.
Cash.
He's going to be getting a lot of it out of his pockets and throwing it away, mate, so be there for it. Peace out. Hey, what's up, homies? Welcome back to the Forthwrite podcast. I'm Pez. This is my man 60.
What's up, babe?
What's up, babe? This is episode 10, and we're thinking this is going to be the end of season 1. This was our goal, if we could get to 10 eppies.
10 eppies in the first season. That's a pretty good effort, man.
Yeah, so that's been sort of our game plan. We've made it this far. We had some good flow at certain points, had a few trials and tribulations the last couple of weeks, but we're still here, which is good. And yeah, we're going to try and end with a bit of a bang. Then we're thinking we're going to have a little break for this tour, which is about to pop off, and then we'll be back with a season 2. We'll start bringing in the guests. We'll start doing a whole bunch of different things. Get the live rappies as more of a common theme. But I guess first cab off the rank, you just came straight out with some babes. I feel like that's something we probably need to talk about because
yeah, you've been copping it, man. I see in the reels and in the episodes themselves. You see people being like, "Oh, I love the fact that he's called 60 babe," and they either love it or they just hate it. Like they're like, "What's he doing?
Stop saying babe." Oh. So like, but first of all, bro, I didn't even realize like how often it's become so normal at this point. But I feel like we need to give some context to everyone at home because it's man, it's something that I feel like might have even originated as far back as like the original A Mind of My Own tour with Sethage and all of that. Do you remember when it?
Yeah, I feel like I have this vague memory of someone who was either working on a festival with us. I think it was a chick. It was like one of the promoters or one of the people who was taking us around at a festival was just calling us babe. Like, yeah, cheers, babe. And so it was like a response to kind of take the piss a little
Usual
bit.
Style, yeah.
But in a fun way. So we just started adapting. You know how we did that with
Always.
Like old mate from when we were partying and that, like.
Totally. It just takes over your whole vernacular.
It's everything. I remember you calling Ray babe all the time and her just getting so uncomfortable.
They eventually love it though because it's a piss take. Like at first I don't know how to respond. But also I feel like within that tour at a certain point, we started to call dudes babe.
Yeah.
And then call chicks bro.
Yeah.
Like it was a piss take. And then just to watch the reaction that would like, dude, it was just hilarious. So it became like us pissing ourselves and then it became quite infectious and took over the whole.
And you just call everyone babe.
And
now,
everyone babe.
Classic. Do you call your kids babe as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll do it. They call me brah or bro. Like it's awesome. But yeah, I feel like it probably disappeared. It had a resurgence sort of recently. So it started to just become a thing again. And man, I forget I'm even doing it, bro. But it's like so funny because dudes don't know how to take it. Like they come across it in a reel for the first time.
And you kind of reminds us of how people used to react.
Yeah. And I'm like,
oh
man, that's right. I'm in our own little bubble of all our mates everyone's used to us doing it and just piss themselves. But I'm like, oh yeah, out in the broader community there. Hey, And that's what I'm getting.
Babe.
Oh, that's right. Thomas, apparently I say it so much he's even got it
Babe,
on the
babe.
He's got it on trigger. So there you go. We can drop him in at any point we want now. But I'm getting like personal messages of dudes just saying, mate, cut that out. Like I'm like,
They're just so offended.
and
by
you know
it.
my smart ass nature is like, cut it out, hey? All right. I'm about to ramp it up even more then, babe.
Yeah, you got to hit them as soon as they go, sorry, babe. Just hit them with the sorry, babe, and it just make them even more. It's like with the whole dogs thing, you know, like what's going on, dog? What's up, dog? That just became because I remember hanging out with the Iron Projects dudes, and they were from the West and that, and they were all Maoris and stuff, and they'd just be like, what's going on, dog? You know, and we would just start calling everyone dog. And then you get into the Oz rap scene, and calling someone a dog is calling someone a snitch, like someone who rats on someone in prison. So
it's the worst insult possible, man.
Yeah, so I'm in the battle rap community, like doing videos going, come on, dog, we got this, man, like trying to promote it and that, and then get hit up like, you put me on the bitch, mate. It's like, mate, I don't even know what that means, you know, like what does putting you on the bitch mean? It's like, are you calling me a rat?
Yeah,
It's
wow.
like, mate, I call everyone dog.
Yeah, dude.
Know?
Plus we used to just use it as more of a noun too, like where it started to be just like, you'd be like, oh man, you get some new shoes. And it's like, man, those are some pretty nice dogs you got on there, man, or whatever. Yeah. And it was like became part of it.
Oh man, I remember vividly when you first did that. There was this like talking about an Asian dude from the station, and you were like, he had them blonde dogs down there. And I remember you saying that, and I was just like, I could not believe that you'd like refer to that as dogs.
Man, it gets so out of hand though that you start calling like you'll see two little cats walk past and go, man, have a look at these little dogs over here. And then you're like, if you're not with your mates, people think you're just mental. And so it was like, it can get out of hand. But, well, I guess what are we going to start on this week? It feels like probably the most appropriate place to start is congratulations, first of all. The album just dropped.
Yeah.
We probably should start there, man. How does that feel? Like we've been talking about that in the lead up. Now it's real. It's out there. There's other songs on the record, which I guess, people get to hear the whole thing. So how's that all feel, first of all, and then let's go into it.
Man, it feels great to have it out. It's been strange. I've been sort of talking to you about this over the course of this podcast, but I feel the first day, man, I felt like nothing. I felt nothing. And it was kind of a bit like, this is weird. Like, why aren't I feeling anything?
Yeah, right.
No even excitement or anything.
Right.
And I was like, what is happening here? But then over the next few days, it's been like, oh yeah, this is cool, you know?
Yeah, okay.
It's been fun, but it's like at the same time, it's like people have heard majority of the album already.
Well, I guess they've heard about half, hey, that's sort of the way of the world now though, isn't it? Because it's like the attention span of people and all that, it's kind of like, and the way things are released, you're going to have a lot of the singles come out before it drops anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I had have been consistently putting out albums, I don't know if we would have done it like this, you know, because we'd probably have the hype there already. But because it's like the first album in 8 years, it's like I felt like we needed to really go hard in the sense of like, all right, let's put out as many songs as possible. Like, I would have been down to just do like 15 singles before dropping the album.
As more of a formality at the end, and you just like, give everything its little moment in the sun where it can actually hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've always had this kind of, it's almost like a method of doing things where like before Falling and Flying, I would do Please Be Seated, and I'd have these kind of little projects coming out before. And before this one, I really wanted to do that too, which I did with Please Be Seated, the last Please Be Seated.
Yeah.
But it was so long ago that the hype had already died out.
Right.
If I had kept that in the vault as well and dropped that right before the album, I feel like it could have multiplied it even further. But it's been great. The response has been awesome. I feel just really, really blessed to have been able to create this album with Ty. Even we were just discussing earlier, just the fact that I was working with different management before, and during COVID, I don't know if we've discussed this on the podcast or not.
Let's go into it. This is the place to do it.
During COVID, when I was getting out of rehab and I was going through such a dark patch, I remember I felt like at the time, I know it's nothing personal because I'd almost given up on myself, but it felt like the management that I was with weren't they didn't feel very keen on the music that I was making. Like I remember I was doing all these demos and I was sending them these songs, and I would like send it to them, and they'd be like, sounds good, kind of thing. Hit us up when the album's done. And at that time, because I was in such a dark place, I really needed guidance. I needed help with it. I didn't need to be just told, all right, you sort it out yourself.
Yeah, you need someone, that's right, supporting you and collaborating and working with you and all that stuff.
Yeah. And at the time, my current manager, Jared, he was working at TAB, and he's just been a friend of mine that I've known since back in the Falling and Flying days. Like he was I think he was like 14 when I was dropping Falling and Flying, like just a young fan.
Really?
That I don't know how, but I became really close with him, I think through Facebook. And he always had this really dope understanding of music. Like he got it from a very young age. And I remember sending him all these demos that I was working on during COVID and that. And he was like, mate, this is crazy. You could be doing this with that. You could be doing that. You should try and work with this guy and that guy. And then suddenly I felt like, I didn't know what it was at the time, but I felt like something was telling me.
That's what you actually need right now. Yeah. Support and guidance.
Go with him as your manager. And it was a very a glaringly loud voice telling me that I needed to work with him. And now when I reflect on that, this album wouldn't have come together if it wasn't for that voice telling me that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was, it's interesting when I reflect back on that too, because I could have handled things a lot better. Because I remember speaking to the management at the time and being like, I feel like I need a fresh fresh start with someone new. And they got that, but they didn't realize that I actually had that person in the vault, and I was still in that people pleasing where I was like, I didn't want to offend them.
Yep.
But then when I parted ways with them, it was like I was instantly with Jared, and it kind of felt like I'd shafted them.
Right.
So I didn't communicate that properly, and I look back on that now and I can see how I would have done that a lot differently.
Yeah.
But
that's what this is all about though, isn't it? That maturity and all of these things as you're learning, and you're trying to overcome all of those different hurdles that we both have struggled with. And it's really cool when you start to change and actually sometimes have that awkward conversation, or sometimes be honest when you normally wouldn't, and all that stuff. So it's kind of like the way that you learn, I guess.
Yeah, man. It's been cool to make that kind of progress and be that person I've always desired to be, and be a grown man kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm 39 now.
Yeah, hectic.
Which is wild. So to be at the point where I'm learning how to be a man now, I feel like I got to it quite late.
Yeah, but I feel like that almost happens a little bit in these sorts of industries, like when we're in music, because you'll even notice that with a lot of there's something kind of childlike about, there's an innocence in the creative space. You kind of almost need to hold on to that. It's almost like you're sometimes prolonging your development in these other areas of life, which is what you kind of even see. Like some of these artists you meet, they don't necessarily pivot into the other aspect of growing up. You kind of stay in this bubble. You don't work a normal job. You don't have all these normal responsibilities. You're kind of floating around in this other world a little bit. It's quite common. If I meet other people, it's kind of, because obviously I'd stepped away, and you go and actually do all of these other things. When you come back and meet lots of other rappers or artists, you're like, oh, that's right. They don't do that. You kind of stay in this other space. So it's a bit weird in that way. It is kind of different. With the track list itself, what are some of your favorite songs on it? Incomplete and things like that? Is there any tracks you want to talk about that, I think almost bring the track list up so I could mention a few of them.
I think Incomplete for me is such a great one, because it's it's very real. I feel like for a lot of my life it's very much like a second child, in a sense that when I was just a child, I didn't know much about you being the chorus of Child. I look back at my life, and when I was such a young kid, I really, I think it's probably common, but I really took for granted the sacrifices that my dad was making. He was grinding every day, we were living in Croydon, and he was going to the city every single day as an accountant, which he absolutely hated, but he was making good money and he wanted to provide for us. And he was doing that every single day, and you could see it was just chipping away at his soul a bit.
Yeah.
But even during that process, the fact that he was still so active in our lives and in my life, especially with basketball and stuff like that. He was working that, still taking me to training, still taking me to games, even training before school and all that too. It was like he was just a machine, man. And I didn't realize how much I took that for granted. Like I can remember, because we lived in quite a big house back in Croydon, and it was like had all this grass and stuff. And then on the weekends, he'd be mowing the lawn. He'd be trying to get us to do it. And we'd be like, I don't want to do it. And,
all of that.
And you look back at that and I think, oh,
how ungrateful or whatever.
How ungrateful and how entitled and like privileged little kid, just trying to get by and not chipping in, you know? And I feel like I didn't realize that till I was older. What it actually cost him to do that and how much work he actually put in. So I wanted to, really write that song for him and dedicate to him. And I feel like it really, it landed in that sense.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, that's one of the biggest things, man, as a parent myself now. Like, obviously, you know, I think in some ways I was always observing, like, particularly my mum, all those things, but you kind of like, you are like, wow, but once you become a parent yourself and then you're in that position where it's exactly that. Like, I work ridiculous hours. You do that on the weekend. You do all these sorts of things because you love your kids. You would like, it's just
you want to
innate.
give them the world.
You just give them the world. You do it, but then you're like, how do I also instill that understanding, that value system in them, so that they don't take it for granted, and they understand and try and get that sense of perspective into their world about the things to be grateful for and appreciative of, and all of that, like, so that they hopefully get it, and they're, you know.
And how do you do that?
I guess I like to just probably talk to them about it. Like, I think kids are so much more aware than people think. And if you can try and each day, or there's these little moments when a little conversation can come up and you're trying to like introduce the idea of perspective, and just that there's, you know, there are people that are much less fortunate, don't have it. And there's people who are insanely more privileged and all that stuff, but that's okay. And you kind of just like, and the fact also maybe that we are like part of being like a family, it feels like you are meant to you're all in it together. You're all trying to chip in and help each other. So it's not like, it's, if you're asked, like you're saying, oh, can you come and help mow the lawn? Instead of that being like, oh, I want to do this. It's like, oh, this is a way that we're all, you know, he's like, oh, well, I'm really tired on the weekend, but I get up at 7 o'clock to take you to basketball training because you love basketball, and I do this and that. And it's like, I don't sit there and go, oh, I don't want to, I don't know.
It's a communication.
It's a communication thing. And I'm like, I wonder if you can, and they're very sensitive, kind of like empathetic kids. So
do you think that's a girl thing?
I don't know, because I guess that's my reference point. And I guess then even like Lonnie to Ivy are quite different in their personality. So it's like, I'm sure there's certain sensibilities that they would have that are, but yeah, I can't tell. And that's why it kind of will find out as you go. But it's like, that's all I can think in when, it's like, you just try and communicate it the best way you can and have that constant conversation. Cause it's easy to just probably get into, you know, kind of routine or habitual roles or this sort of stuff. And then that's what happens. Your mind just takes things for granted. It just goes to sleep. So it's like, whereas if you kind of keep it as an open dialogue, maybe hopefully it, Yeah,
I think that's where my old man, he wasn't a great communicator. He wasn't someone who would break it down like that. I think he would kind of just expect us to get it.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky thing. And then even so for my mum, she would never say anything, but she would just do everything for everyone. So as I got older, I would observe her and be like, want to do things or want to help. You know, even when I would write about her in Heavenly, that was because I was like admiring her. But then I could see a lot of the same traits in myself where I'm like, oh,
you're
could easily
sacrificing.
you just start doing it. But I'm like, oh, that's not, you're watching her basically kill herself in the process, because it's like, you're working yourself to the bone or whatever. It's like, how do you explain that to everyone around you so that you're all like helping each other? I don't know. That's part of this journey, I guess,
Such a balancing act, isn't it, man? Especially with children. Like, do you find that they, when you explain kind of complicated topics that we might understand now because we're grown up, do you feel like they take to it?
Sometimes, yeah, it depends. And sometimes they'll just say really profound things, man, or they'll ask a question that's like so deep, and you're like, man, well, there you go. You're only 6, and you're just like, that's somehow You know what I mean? Like I should write them down so I can remember, because sometimes the magnitude of it, you're like, man, that's hectic that you've even just asked that, or that you're even thinking about things like that. So that's why I think, yeah, maybe the way you communicate it is going to be a bit more basic to introduce a concept or an idea, but it's starting something. It's starting just the conversation, and you're hoping maybe it develops and grows as they grow older with you. This is the thing, man. It feels like we're learning on the fly. So you're doing your best. You're trying to like observe how, like we're saying, like, so, okay, we've now grown up. You reflect, you look back at it, and then you think, man, now I understand what my dad was trying to do when he did that. I didn't get it then. So then you're like, okay, where's the wires got crossed? How do I try and like not make the same mistake, or not have the same? Is it just this cyclical thing where it's kind of like, oh, it's going to happen and there's nothing you can do about it? Or is it something that we can change if we actually go about it in a different way? Or
I feel like you're hyper aware of being different in that regard. I really admired when I don't want to put any personal stuff on here, but recent death in your family, the way you were just like so conscious of how it was going to affect Ivy and Lonnie, and like, man, it was really cool. Just the way you were telling them whatever you're feeling, share it. You don't have to hide it. Like if you're mourning and you're sad and you need a hug, don't feel like you need to tough it out. Or if you need to be alone, do that too. Like letting them know that it's okay to feel and to share it and communicate that, I feel like is really cool.
Yeah, well, I think that's one, exactly that, man. Because when I reflect on it, it was like when I was young, I kind of had like 5 deaths in the family, like really quick. And then when I think of that for my mum and dad, like that was my mum's mum. She was, my grandma was in, probably her 50s or something like that. So my mum's like running her business and like all this stuff, and then bang, loses her mum, then loses her dad real quick. And then it was a lot. So she's trying to still get up and keep going to work. It's like you become numb. So that I went from being so close to my grandma, like I remember that vividly, but like, because it's so traumatic, I remember just shutting down, man. Like you just, over the course of that period, you become numb. So like I just couldn't feel anything. So if someone dies, you just numb, like your body just shuts down. So I was like observing Lonnie and thinking like she's very sensitive, very empathetic sort of kid. And it's like, okay, I can see real similar sensibilities between me and her, and what this would do to her. So you're kind of like, okay, how do I teach her how to grieve? Because this is where it's so overwhelming, man, that if it's not, I feel like we store all this trauma. Like this is what happens. Like as things are happening in life, your body just accumulates all this stuff. So I'm like, how do we try and teach her to try and navigate it and like support her and all those things and talk about it? And it's been pretty awesome in that regard. And exactly that. I was like, man, it's not a one and done thing. Like when you're grieving or trauma, like it's not, okay, cool, it's black and white. I've dealt with that thing. It's like it comes up randomly. So you might have this day where you're really emotional, and then another day you feel happy, and then it comes back and it's like, it's okay. So just trying to teach her to like feel that range of emotion and just let it, and just talk your way through it as you're going. And same thing, man, we're just trying to figure it out as we go, but you're like hoping that you can, be supportive and work through it. Was there any other, because I feel like you've got don't say?
Yeah, don't say, yeah.
So that's the same thing, man, because you're so open, and like, I feel like we were really reconnecting or any of that sort of stuff. And then I feel like you just sent me that out of the, oh man, I wrote this sort of song, and that hit me in the feels hardcore, because I was like, just got clipped with a right hook when I was like, whoa, that was a dope song. So I feel like I like when you do that stuff, man. It feels like there's no real filter there in that regard. Like if you feel things, you kind of just go where you go, which is sick.
But did you feel like, I guess, did that feel like it came out of nowhere? Like had I expressed that same appreciation to you personally, or is that something that I'd only done in the song like in the past? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like maybe it was it's the beginnings of kind of it being much more forward, or kind of like, open. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think in the context of when you would have first showed it to me.
Because I remember when we first really started reconnecting, like around that moment when I came to your house and you prayed for me, it was like, man, we were like really coming to get back together again. And it was like, I don't know, it was this
It was a bit of a full circle moment to some degree because it felt like
just this love, like that we'd been drawn back together, and I think we've always just connected so much and had so much respect for one another. It was like such a good moment to be back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the full circle thing is what it kept feeling like. I was like, bro, like it literally feels like when we first started for some reason. You've gone through all these different trials and tribulations of life. And then, yeah, it was more just that for some reason, like it feels like, which even back then it always felt like something else is like pulling you together. It was just acknowledging that then there was, yeah, which was, I don't know, man. It's kind of, and that's us just being obedient to the whole thing, I guess. And you just kind of go with the flow, and then it just starts to lead you down some path where it's but yeah, I guess so. That's the album vibe. Is there any other tracks on there you would talk about, or is it more because also now we're basically going straight into the tour this week, which is like which is pretty epic. So it's like, how are you feeling about that? How is the excitement? What do we want to let anything, the cat out of the bag at all about what people can expect, and like how much of the, or is that going to be just a total surprise for everyone?
I'm excited. I feel like because I'm going into all the tours, I think we've touched on this. I'm not sure if that was maybe in the last epi.
It might have been the one where we did one, but then that's what I'm saying, because it's like I think it was episode 8 where we felt like, oh man, this is such a dope ep, and we did the bars, and then everything got corrupted, and we're like, can't use it, but that's okay. So now it just fogs your memory because you're like, did we speak about that, or did we like? So I don't know. It might have been in that one.
Because in the past I've been prescribed Valium, and in the last tours I've done over the last 5 years, I've always just had them before going on stage
for all the nerves or anxiety that you feel and stuff.
To be honest, I was like, I feel like that was me manipulating myself, because like it got to the point, like when I was first prescribed them, I was having them during the day sort of just to get me through those withdrawals. But as I weaned off them and I didn't really need them for that, I started taking them before bed to help with my sleep.
Right.
And so when I was on tour, the excuse that I made to have them before the show was that I need to do it at like about 9-ish, because if I finish the set and I have them when I get back, I'll be too foggy in the morning because they last.
Right.
I'll wake up and feel like a benzo hangover, which I wouldn't. But it was just the excuse that I had in my head, the lie to manipulate myself to going, hey, this is going to numb my nerves so I'll be able to come out of my shell more on stage. Even though it's like it was a low dose, but it still became a crutch. So I felt like I just had to really dial in my preparation for this tour. Start rehearsing like months in advance, getting everything down. I felt like I've been really, really cautious and mindful about whether to share about my faith, how to do that. So I've been going deep into prayer, like pretty much almost every night, just being like.
And you mean within the set itself, or
reveal to me how you want me to do this. Like I've really wanted to emulate Christ with his example, the way he would always meet people with love. He would give them what they needed before giving them give them what they want before giving them what they needed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he would relate to them before hitting them with the truth. And the same thing with Paul in Acts 17, when he's speaking to Rome, he like relates to them, and he starts his sermon with like, I can see that you're all very religious people, almost acknowledging them, you know?
Sure.
And then starts hitting them with the truth. So I feel like I've been trying to model it off that.
Well, I feel like he speaks on numerous things, like even just how he was Saul, so he became Paul because he's like, I become like the Jew for the Jew, and I become like the Gentile for the Gentile. So he's kind of like, he wants to relate to people where they're at, rather than having any of these other trivial or superficial things get in the way of it. And he even speaks at other points about like being aware of where people are on their journey, so that you're mindful of like, it might not matter to you anymore, but it does to them. So try and be respectful of it. So that's almost something I wanted to ask you about. Like, was it like, because if you put yourself in the position of like on the outside looking in. So when you didn't believe in Christ or any of that sort of stuff, if you heard anyone even mention it once, what would your response be? You'd be like, oh, they're a wacko, and you never want to hear it again. So are you kind of like mindful of that, where you want to be able to, like, can you, and is it even just like, is that part of, as we've said, like with your personality, because it's like so extreme, it's like once you do something, you do it all the way in. Are you able to temper it and moderate that and be like, this is a part of my personality, but then, you can also relate to people over here? Or has it become like, this is just kind of what it is now, and it kind of, yeah, like, are you aware of how that people respond to that and you want to adjust it, or you kind of just, and you just don't care? Or like, what's the feeling that you have, or the emotion as you're going through it?
It's a great question, man. I feel so zealous, and it's like I feel like I've literally just been born. So it's like it's very hard to rein that in.
Yeah.
But with the live show, I very much feel I'm very mindful of it. Like the way I'm doing it is I'm going to tell a bit of a story with this set. So it's going to be like taking people on two simultaneous journeys: the journey of 360 and the journey of Matt Colwell. And we'll start pretty much back at the beginning. Well, not at the very beginning, but from Falling and Flying.
Yeah.
And we'll go through each album until this album, and we'll tell the story of what it looked like 360 was doing, but where Matt Colwell was going at the same time. Because I feel like Falling and Flying was such an appropriate name, because it was both. It was like Matt Colwell was falling, but 360 looked like he was flying,
Yeah, yeah.
But there was this battle going on with that. So what I want to speak on is like coming out of the blue. What got me out of the blue? It wasn't just like finding Christ. That was like the end result that I got to only recently. When I was during that whole process, what got me through that? And it was family, the love and support of mum and dad and my brother, and having them with me. That was like instrumental.
Yep.
And it was also friendship. It was like you, Mo, and also building the new community that I've got now has been so big for me, because the fame kind of destroyed me and caused me to become so antisocial. But I had two brothers with you and Mo that were just phenomenal friends and so supportive through that whole time, when like even when I was withdrawn, even when we'd go months without talking and stuff like that, there wasn't any grudge or resentment for it. And also Jim, which like all this is going to be part of the set,
Yeah,
I'm going to touch on these things. And I'll do it in a pretty methodical way through the set. But the ultimate thing that has saved me was the love of Christ and the gospel. So gently walking people to that point. But that's pretty much the point I'm going to make, is these things really help me. And then Christ helped me just get beyond all of it.
Yeah, yeah. That was the transcendent thing at the end that kind of really, truly liberates you from all of the other, I guess, demons or things you battle on the way or whatever.
Yeah, because like during that whole process of getting out of the blue, I guess, I was like working with a coach, as we've spoken about, like working on the people pleasing and stuff like that, and made crazy progress with that, made really good progress. But then there was still a habitual thing that it was always just like there. And then it's the moment I really believed in the gospel, it's like, I feel like that remaining part that was just there has been just really smashed out of me.
Yeah.
And the healing, it's hard to explain how that happens, because it actually feels kind of miraculous. The way you just believe in something higher, like believe in the King, and then suddenly that's just taken away, and more progress has been made in the last 6 months to a year than over the last 5 years in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I back to the original question, I do feel very mindful of it, and I feel like people are probably, I think, a bit hesitant, probably a bit like, what's going to happen here? Like, what am I going to do during my set? Am I just going to be like off the deep end, going off the rails, or what's happening? And I feel like people, when they see the set, they'll be like, oh, okay, I feel like it's going to be tactful.
Well, that's right. It's just finding a way to that's the biggest thing I'm curious with you of like, is it something that you're aware of? Because it can obviously have the adverse effect of like probably the people you maybe want to connect with most. It pushes them away because it's like they're literally conditioned to be like, oh. So it's like, I guess on some level it's finding that way to like gently relate to people and still connect with them. If it comes on too strong, then there's some people that pull away, which I'm like, man, I could see you doing that with your nature. You just almost pivot. And then there's all these other people that would do it. But it's just like, is that something you're trying to bridge or is it something you're not, I don't know, is it or something you're not really cognizant of or even think? You're just like, this is kind of how I am and you're just figuring it out as you go to some degree.
It's a mix of both. I feel like we've spoken about this before, where I don't want to just pivot who the audience is. You know, I really do want to reach people that don't have faith. And I was really expecting to lose everyone from the start, and I'd lost a lot of people, but the support has been pretty phenomenal. Like
As well, yeah.
been really, really cool to see those who don't have faith or don't even see eye to eye with where I'm at spiritually, but are still
There.
supporting. And
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
been really, really cool.
Very cool.
I think it's just who I am as a person. If I'm feeling something, I feel convicted, I can't really rein it in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, that's kind of, yeah, I mean, that's what we've always said. Like, it's kind of, even that brings us to the swear jar experience. So it's kind of like, which I'm like, bro, that's such a dope idea. Like, that's funny as, like, what a great way to connect with people. You know, maybe wasn't expecting the, you know, repent in the name of Jesus straight away in the video or something. But that's what I mean. So even just, I think it's just even mentioning it, even if you're doing it playfully, people are just like, oh, and is that part of it with you where it's kind of, because I think even the swear jar thing, I think probably illustrates your nature in the sense that like, if you were going to swear, you were sick. So it was like probably the most vulgar version of it. Like it's hilarious and you're that way. And then if you decide, I'm not going to swear anymore, you just be like, that's it, done, never swearing again, not in the songs, nothing, and bang, bang. And you'll just kind of like clean up your act. It's not like okay, that's like a amicable idea. I'm going to try and work towards not swearing and I'm going to gently do it. It's kind of like, boom, you just make a decision like, all right, I'm not doing that anymore, bang, sort of thing. So it's like, yeah, I guess that's going to be part of the fun and the journey there, like actually at the shows. I'm definitely going to be racking up a bill for you though, cuz.
Yeah,
It's like, it's not as easy for me to drop that.
It's very funny. Just to give people context, I have been trying to stop swearing, which has been so difficult. Like the last six months, mate, I didn't realize how much I was actually swearing until I tried to stop.
Dude. Well, that's Aussie culture in general too. That's why I was saying it's really tricky here because it's not only even, they're literally like bridging I just swear like normally, like the emphasis. And like we were saying, a lot of times I almost think of it like positively. I don't think of it as like, oh, you're saying it's harder as a parent too, because then I'm realizing like, oh, I don't want to do that in front of my kids. Even just as a parent, it's not setting a good example, let alone the deeper thing. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Like I put up a video the other day and I was like, okay, I want you guys to hold me accountable. I'm going to bring a swear jar on tour. So every time I swear, I want you to rebuke me in the name of Christ and throw up a cross. That was like that was a way of just taking a piss out of myself. Like I honestly thought that was clear, but it wasn't.
I think it's just because that's what it is. But for people where it's like, when it becomes all of your personality, and that's where I was like, for you, are you aware enough of that where you can sort of separate the two and just be like, let something be what it is, or it's like it's going to become just part of where you're at? I don't know. It's a real difficult thing to illustrate because it feels like, as you know, like on the outside looking in, when you were in that position, like, are you aware of like that even just mentioning things that pushes them away and then you go, okay, how do I, or can I just do something? Can it be part of your personality and then other things? Because I think that's probably for people on the outside looking in, they'd be thinking,
it's his whole personality.
It's his whole personality. Yeah. Where I love like, you know, his older music. I love this or that. I want to hear what he's doing when he's at the gym and he's doing these things, and they can get bits and pieces and pick and choose if they want to dabble into that world, or does it just become part of where you're at now? And that's kind of like,
it's interesting. I feel like that's what worship does, you know, like it becomes everything. And it's like, not that I'm like Kanye in any regard, but when Kanye made his shift to Christ, he was just the same. And I remember being like, I can't believe this, man. But
now you can.
But
now I can believe it. I get what has happened.
yeah. But I mean, at the time, I still listened to him, and I was still kind of all in for him. It didn't, even though I was someone who would react pretty poorly if he brought up the name of Jesus. When Kanye was doing it, I was just like, no, I loved him that much that it didn't really bother me.
Yeah, yeah.
And with the swear jar thing, like I was trying to poke fun at myself, but I did not realize how serious people would take that. It's like I've realized it was like people were taking it quite personally. It's almost like I think there's certain things when you're navigating this terrain, it's like I'm just trying to share what's happening with me. I'm trying to show how God is changing my life.
How it's helped you, sort of thing.
Yeah, and how he's radically transforming me. But I understand that it can come across as though you're holding up a mirror to people. Like it can often be taken as though like, okay, I'm living this way, and if you're not, then you're wrong. You're not living the right kind of lifestyle.
Right.
And I definitely don't feel that way at all. I just want to show what's happening in my life. So if some of the comments were so funny, man, like I'm selling, like one of them was like, I'm selling my ticket to his show because I didn't buy a ticket to a Wiggles concert.
Oh, because that's right. Because they want to hear, that's right, versions of the song too, of like, let it be what it was for the time, where if you're going to now remove swear words from certain songs or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
and I can't play Hammerhead anymore.
Right.
I can't play, even though it's quite funny, Shutterbug, I can't play that anymore. Like, even though that was just lighthearted and comical, it was comedic, I thought,
it doesn't align with where you're at now.
Can't be glorifying that kind of stuff now, like especially the drug taking and that. Like, I thought it was, we've spoken about this, but I thought about when I say like talking about drugs and all that kind of thing, I thought it was like quite clearly taking the piss, but it has caused people to like listen to that and be inspired to do it. So it's like, I think people might be like, okay, is he just going to be coming out with just this full clean back to front set, which I am trying to do. Like, I'm trying to cut out all the swear words in all the songs. I'm trying to have different words. I feel very convicted to do that. But I think it's going to be done in a way, especially with the swear jar. I think it'll be absolutely hilarious, man. Because the dichotomy of you and me playing up to it.
Well, like, just even like, so you mentioned you're going to be touching on the gym. So that means maybe some dem gains might get factored in, which is
coup de grace.
Oh, hectic,
with it, bro. In the hook.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I've got songs with it in the hook too. So it's like I'm seeing when I'm coming up with this swear jar thing, and when I'm picturing the set, I'm not picturing it to be like this real serious thing that I think a lot of people have
turned it into. Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
It's not that. It's going to be actually hilarious because there's so many moments, and also when I'm not actually going to get people to do that. Like, I think we'll just get the whole crowd to do that every time, I swear.
Every time there's a misfire.
Yeah.
Put some money in, cuz. But the muscle memory, bro, like if we do dem gains, like classic 4thriz stuff, like we swear nearly every second line, dude. Like me I can't unlearn that. Like it's like imprinted into my brain. It'd take some serious practice to be like, all right, how do you reshape this verse?
Man.
It's just going to be hilarious.
It's very, very difficult. It is a process, but I do see why people are very, very critical. I see where it can be quite off-putting as well.
I think it's just that what we're saying. It's like because you don't muck around, you don't step there. So you go from like, I won't quote certain lyrics, but there's like, I could give an example of some of the most like brazen stuff you might have said, and then to suddenly be like, nah, not swearing anymore, cuz. And they're kind of like, what? But I want to hear Hammerhead or whatever, you know what I mean? So then they're kind of like, it's not like, all right, I'm going to show some grace here. We're going to step you guys there, but I'm working towards it. It's just like, boom. So that's obviously, that's part of it. Then people, I guess this will be part of the journey. We get to navigate this and see how it all plays out.
And it's been like, because I was not expecting that response, right? I thought it was going to be quite funny.
But that's what I mean. So you're not, in doing that, you weren't aware that would even have an aspect that could like trigger people or rub them the wrong way, or it couldn't be an isolated thing that's just like, hey, I'm going to try and do this swear jar thing. I'm trying not to swear. This is going to be real funny, like blah, blah, blah. Like I guess.
It was the rebuke in the name of Jesus.
Totally.
That
Like
set
even
him off.
even just referencing that, like no part of you thought, oh, this might trigger anyone.
It's interesting. It's like I am, even though I'm hyper aware of mentioning the name of Jesus and how off-putting that can be for people.
Yeah.
I just cannot. I'm not going to water it down.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been after this response. I've been seeking advice from a bunch of people around me, like a bunch of pastors. I've jumped on a bunch of calls with people because I want to make sure I'm being humble. I don't want to be like doing this from a place of pride. I don't want to be stubborn about it or doing it from a place of ego as well. I want to make sure that I'm navigating it with humility, with discernment. I want to be doing it right. So I've been getting all this great advice from all the pastors and seeing like, do you guys think that I'm being too much? Like, am I going too over the top? And one of them said it's really interesting, like in this country, like Christianity has become so watered down that even when you're just like a new Christian being very zealous for it, that is almost taken as being legalistic or falling into Christian fundamentalism and stuff like that, when it's really just being a Christian.
Right.
You know, and I was like, that's really interesting too. But like, I want to navigate it. I know there's a balance. I want to have like, he also said like, there's too much truth without grace is poisonous. Too much grace without the balance of truth is poisonous. But if you balance truth and grace perfectly, it's like medicine.
Yeah.
And I felt really convicted by that.
The main thing, it sort of feels like, I guess it's knowing the way people are conditioned to react to it. It's very easy. If you come on strong, then it's easy for people to turn it into a caricature, and then it becomes like a cartoon in their head of what they think it is. Where I think that was the biggest thing for me that changed me, or that I was like, I don't think, well, I know it isn't. It's not what people think it is. Because I was one of the people that thought I had this like caricature in my head of what it was. And then the first thing that all started to unravel, I was like, I had no fucking idea what I'm talking about, man. So that's what, to me, that's why I was like, once you actually gently talk to people, I was like, that's what I watched happen when I came home. People had this adverse reaction to what they think it is, because it's got nothing to do with what it is or what's going on. It's what they think it is, even though they know no idea what they're talking about. And as they see the fruits of it, and as all these things started to change, their walls came down and they become more and more open to it. And then I'm like, I think it's objectively true. I don't have to do anything. I just talk openly and honestly about what it actually is. Absolutely what it's done in my own life or our lives of that. But it's also just, it speaks for itself. But as soon as people just are able to have all of that kind of, all those walls fall down, it does it for them. And I guess on some level feels like then our job is just to help. Yeah. And that's probably the thing to navigate, is like, if I feel like that's what happens. And what you would have even seen to that video is that people respond, they put it in a box and go, oh yeah, this is happening. And they're already shut down. Like they're not really listening anymore. They've decided, they've made a decision of what you are, what it is. And that's probably the thing that you're trying to figure out. Like, how do you,
I don't think that necessarily loses them though. Like, okay. I feel like if think about your example, when you came back, you were so bold, right? A lot of people were like, oh, I don't know about this, but it's still, once they saw the fruit, like you just said, they were like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. Even Seth and that, they're like, I thought you'd be a lot different. So it's the same. I feel like it's the same kind of thing. Like it's going to have this, they're going to have this visceral response to it.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, no, I'm out. But then when they see that it's not actually
over time,
yeah. I think it's like, I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be bold because I don't know how not to be, kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's a balancing act. I never want to behave like I know exactly I'm getting it right, like I'm stubborn or anything like that.
Totally.
So I appreciate that you will call me up and you'll be like, dude, are you sure about this?
Well, I think we're just different anyway, as we'd said. Like, so the way I would navigate things and you is different. And it's part of like, even just on the episode 7, me sharing it, as I said, I wouldn't do that yet.
And that's it. That's actually a good point. Like, how are
Where
you
you're
feeling?
like, bro, I think that like, well, it was extremely liberating, and it obviously became like a real fruitful conversation and stuff like that. So it was really awesome. There's been lots of amazing support, and it's great. So it's like, and as we'd said, like it's very hard to have open, honest discussion when it feels like I'm sidestepping something that I'm kind of holding back. So like, but I'm also mindful of like, yeah, like how do you navigate that with everything else that we got going on and all this other music I've made? Like it's sort of there's a lot of dimensions probably to my personality, my life, and all this sort of stuff. And then you're wanting to kind of show all these different bits of it. But it's like that's I look at it like that. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have, because on some level I'm like, oh, I don't feel like well, like seasoned enough yet. And if you're ever going to publicly declare it on some level, you want to be a really good example of it. Where I feel like, oh, I still got a lot of work to do. I haven't got those things in order, and I'd probably made a lot of this music that had not necessarily, it wasn't necessarily influenced by that yet. And then you kind of like, oh, whereas for you, you were very public about it as it happened, and you're like, this has happened now, but this album I've made was before it. So then you got to start putting out music that's made all before that, and then you're swearing and doing all these things that don't align with where you're at. Which, so for me, I would be more like, okay, I'm not going to publicly explain where I'm at yet because all this stuff that I'm about to put out doesn't line up with that yet. But I'll get there. Where that's not how you roll. You're just like, this is where I'm actually at. So it's like really interesting. And that's the push and pull for us that's really cool. Because then instead of just sitting in my comfort zone, it kind of like, it challenges me, and it always like it's been that thing that sometimes propels me out when I maybe would stay back too much. And so I don't know, man, the whole thing is kind of like a journey that we're learning and navigating and all that sort of stuff.
But you can see how us together,
it balances out in some weird way. And it kind of like, it's always seemed to just do something kind of, yeah, man, some sort of magic comes through when that happens. So that's why we just go with the flow and just see where we end up, sort of thing. But yeah, I've found it to be, well, I guess even speaking to that, because I feel like recently you'd also put up like another video, like, so even just the topic of backlash, how do you like, how have you responded to it? Because I feel like you've always been so resilient in that way. That's something that I both admire, and then kind of like, does it affect you? Do you not? Because it seems to not on the surface. Sometimes it doesn't really seem to rattle you or slow you down or stop you. It's always been, maybe you've always been kind of polarizing. So you're like, there's people on this extreme and there's people on that extreme. And maybe that's more magnified with you or your personality than other people that are kind of just playing, moderating in the middle and trying to keep everyone happy. So I don't know, like, how do you respond to that? And does it even affect you, or what's the vibe?
like in the past, man, it has.
Okay.
Whenever I've said something quite outspoken that has just caused a crazy backlash, I felt like, okay, something's wrong with me. I need to change. I need to, because all I wanted was people's approval and for them to like me. So I would then start being like, okay, I can't talk about these topics, or I need to change my views about this. And it got so out of hand that I lost sight of who I was completely. But in this right now, with where my faith's at, and it's just healed that so much, man. Like it brings it. It's interesting that recent rap that I did, the Barbarian verse, that was like caused such a massive backlash, man. And it was not what I was expecting. And it did have that old kind of thing come up. It was like, oh, how should we do this? Let's try and fix this now. And I just felt like drawn into prayer. So I was just going deep in prayer, man, and talking to God like I would talk to a therapist.
Right.
And then coming out with this like peace, man, and just being like, it's okay. Like it doesn't actually matter,
Yeah.
And then it just kept going. Like it just kept getting spiraling, and it would go like a few days of not having anything. And then it would just come back with a vengeance,
Escalate again.
And
I had to go back and listen to it again, because it was like, I think it didn't even like, it didn't register with me that there was anything that inflammatory when I first heard it. I was kind of just like, oh, dope. Like it's got a couple of, little lines here and that, but I didn't think of it as like something that could
I think as you know me, and I think you probably know where I sit with it all, right? But when I listen back to it now and I look from through their eyes or through their ears, I'm like, oh, okay, they're taking it as a direct stab at a certain group, right?
Right.
Which it definitely wasn't. Like I get why it comes across that way, and it's quite aggressive, and is like got this kind of
It's more like a battle verse sort of thing. So
Yeah.
that's why I didn't really, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, like it was more talking about, and it's less talking about like race, gender, or sexuality or whatever. That is part of it, but it's more talking about the fact it's ideology. It's like the fact that the Overton window of the music industry is so far left. Like it's lost the plot. Like this whole woke, ultra progressive, whatever this has become. Like it's just gone crazy. The whole industry is so far left that if you don't fit into that category, you don't get many opportunities. And that's not saying like a white versus black thing. Like it's talking about different viewpoints not getting any airtime because they don't fit into that mold. And that ultra progressive leftism, like they're all about equality, but it's like box ticking equality. It's not like real equality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I'm speaking about in that. It's like I'm not trying to go at anyone specifically. I'm going at the institutions who pander to them, who have made it all about this. It doesn't need to be about that. It should be about people's gift. Their talent should be what defines them, and that should be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it felt like the verse was talking about to me. You were just saying that those things are now paramount. Like that stuff is first, the actual art or whatever is second. So you got to, and I felt like that's what you were trying to illustrate, which didn't seem that radical to me. It seems like a pretty accurate observation, really. Man, it's hectic. So I guess what else are we going to try and touch on for the remainder of our ep? How we doing, Thomas? There's a few little random funny anecdotal type topics I could easily bring up because I know Six was asking me before what I've been up to lately, and I was like, well, I've been taking the girls roller skating, doing stuff like that. They're getting really into it, and it's certainly made me think back to my early days of when blading became a craze. I feel like we were trying to skateboard at that point. I remember getting a deck, like doing all this sort of stuff.
How old?
Sure, it would have been primary school days.
Primary school. Wow.
Yeah.
So you were on early, man.
Yeah. So it would have been like, I don't know whether it would have been grade 5 or grade 6, but I remember the local bonghead who was older, and we'd all watch him, skegging with his like dreads, and we'd just watch him like jumping 12 steps and railing things and all that, and we were just like follow him around with our little skateboards. But then blading became a thing. Like there was a craze. We all switched to blading for a bit.
There'd always be a blading scene in a movie, like the guy would get off from hacking someone on his computer, back in his backpack, and he'd blade to the next location. Well,
dude, it was a wave. There was a whole, and then I remember it kind of suddenly. I think I was even talking with Sethage about this on the tour because he's like, yeah, man, he got into it to the point he was doing like roller hockey and all that sort of stuff, and he was like got the knee pads and got all this stuff, and I was like, oh, that's so cute, man. I can imagine that. And then I think one person called him gay, and then that was it. He threw it all in the bin and was like, that's it, we're done. But that's what happened. Like overnight, it was corny. So everyone got back into skateboarding because they like came out of this haze and like, what have we been doing, man? And then I was in like, in the pecking order of your friendship group. And I remember the dude like shooting me down, like saying, maybe you should just stick to blading, Pez, or whatever. And it was like, it was the biggest, it was a kidney jab, man. Like it really hurt me. And I was like, I wanted to destroy that dude ever since. But then you were telling me that you remember a little phase. I think you were saying you're even busting out the actual roller skates.
Yeah, man. I couldn't blade because just
it's a different style.
Yeah. It was just felt totally awkward. But on the roller skates, man, they had these little nubs at the front.
That's right.
And I used to be able to run on them and then get my speed.
Bro, because this is what started it. Lonnie was on the skates and she would like use the little brake and push herself off like this propel move, like skiing.
Yeah.
And she's just gliding. I'm like, man, she's made up her own style. Like what's going on here? So you used to do a little bit of an actual run.
Man, I had this bizarre experience that I hesitate to say was divine intervention. I used to try and blade around our little basketball court and would have to hold onto the fence because I was just so timid and afraid. And this was going on for like days. Like I just couldn't get it. And then I went to bed one night and it's like literally had a dream that I was doing it perfectly. And the next morning I woke up able to do it perfectly.
Man, the belief just kicked
It was
in.
wild, dude.
That's
It was
real.
like, I remember trying
That
to
sounds
tell
like
everyone.
a movie, yeah.
Bro, it was insane. Like I remember trying to tell everyone, like I just had a dream and now I can do it, and no one would believe me. But I was just like, just smashing it, man. I was
Just gliding down.
man, and
It's like the
running on the
Matrix
little
or
nubs. It
something.
was so funny.
Starting to believe. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sick.
You know, when she's like, tells them to, tell me how to do whatever this helicopter thing. She like blinks her eyes a couple times, and now all of a sudden she can fly the helicopter.
Mm,
It's the same
That's
concept.
how it happens, man. I'm telling you. The king was speaking to you early on, man. This is what
it's
happens.
faith.
It's the
Yeah,
faith
we used to
thing.
think it was belief.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just faith, babe.
Probably the only other thing I remember to speaking about as we're kind of entering into this tour, I've been enjoying being off the tools, just
Coming
getting
back to music.
Yeah, getting back on stage a little bit.
Yeah,
It's going to be pretty fun.
man. I can't wait till you're back and doing it like full time.
Yeah, well, let's see, cuz this is a step in that direction.
Yeah.
And we'll get this next single, Don't Worry About Me, out, which is poking fun at this transition of everyone hanging shit on me and then getting back into music. So we'll see how it all goes.
Nice.
It'll be fun.
So
And
you
there's
guys,
talks of maybe a regional tour at some point too.
well, you
so
guys
it might-
are going. So this will launch tomorrow, which is Tuesday. So you guys are out Friday, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
it's literally
Yep,
this
on tour
week,
this
man.
Friday.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing that on tour, Pez?
Meant to be. We're finishing it right now. So if
Okay.
I hopefully get the song done in time and get some stems, then yeah, the people will get a taste.
So maybe. It's a maybe.
It's a maybe at the moment. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to remember a Dem Gaines verse, which has about 60 bars. What are you thinking? Is that pretty much, does that feel like a wrap? Does that feel like we got what we needed out of this epi? I don't know how long we've been going, but
Hey, episode 10, babe. We did it one season down. We're winging it for this, first little season. But as we get going, this is going to be more consistent. We're going to be grinding harder. It's going to be on the money.
Yeah, and obviously, as we were saying before, maybe we get some guests flowing. I think we'll start trying to get these live raps as becoming a bit more of a regular happenstance. What do you reckon? We start factoring that in?
Yeah, I think even rapping old songs we should do. I think we should just make it very rap focused.
Yeah, and we've obviously got Forthwrite songs that we're working on right now, so maybe we can give you guys a bit of a taste of some of that stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. If you've made it this far, you're an absolute legend, and we're going to ramp it up even more next season. We don't know. I guess we'll do this tour, and then sometime after that, season 2 will be underway. So just keep an ear to the grindstone, and then, bang. At some point, it's going to be popping off and come on the journey, and we'll build this puppy up. Let us know who you want on here and what stuff you want us to talk about, and we'll keep developing.
Any questions, pop them in the comments. We'll write them down.
Yeah. Much love, everybody. Peace.
Peace
out.
out. Peace out. A-Town.